What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls podcast, coming to you live. We are back in studio, home sweet home from our CHGO studios, West Loop in Chicago. I'm Pat. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Pack. Joined by my guys, Big Dave, bam, BWL Sports, Will the Goat, perfectly coiffed Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb. We are CHGO_Bulls, rocking the producer's controls today. It's our good friend Sarah. What up, Sarah?
I missed you guys.
We missed you too.
Yeah, the content too. Just it was fantastic what you guys were doing.
Thank you,
that
Sarah.
whole trip.
Appreciate it.
No, the whole trip looked awesome.
Thank you very much.
Just come with us next time.
Thank you. Do
Can
that.
tell more people that, please. Yeah, I would love to.
Hey, Shirtless Wonder's out early. How you doing, man?
Oh, speaking of people we missed,
him.
Shirtless Wonder hanging out across the alley.
Oh, I can see the chain from here.
Shirtless per usual.
Oh,
How
with the heater.
we'll get to some fun stuff on today's show. Bulls just lost to the Cavs in their 4 summer league game. We'll talk about that. Any highlights? Any downlights?
Downlights?
Also, wanted to touch on the in-game interview Bulls VP Arturas Karnisovas did during their game Tuesday night. Continuity, boys. Who's ready for more? And also, Will, I know that this news, well, not news, but Bobby Marks' tweet about it broke while you and Mark were doing an HQ yesterday. Wanted to continue to touch on a little bit of that Julian Phillips contract detail, 4-year deal for the second-round draft pick. Before we dive into today's game against the Cavs out in Vegas, just check in, wellness check. Everybody okay? Dave, Will, have we recovered from our Vegas trip yet?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Voice is about 92%.
You sound better.
Sounded better.
It's about, thank you very much.
Definitely sounding a lot better than day 2 in Vegas.
Yes. Oh, man. I was
I don't
all
like
cart
it when
right.
you're not 100%.
Yeah, man. It's like my superpower. I got to have my superpower. Batman needs his
man.
utility belt. You know, loud man can't exist without that, sir. I need that. I must fight quiet man. And he held me down for a second, but I'm back. 92% is probably where I'm at right now.
Like you'll be at 100 by the end of today's show.
Yes. Well, I hope so.
Will, how you doing, buddy?
You know, I'm still recovering.
Okay.
I'm still recovering.
Same.
It was good to be back. It was good to do a remote show yesterday. Gotta say.
It was good. Thank you for you and Mark doing that show yesterday.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Yeah,
man?
that was my next. That was the next thing coming out of my mouth.
Seriously, my God.
I'm in rough shape. I mean, I got myself a Goose IPA right now. It's gonna power me through. But yeah, man, I came back from that Vegas trip full on exhausted.
Oh, man. Well, you deserve to rest. He couldn't even get off the couch. I walked over to him. He was just sideways.
This is the first time I've been out of my bedroom.
Yeah.
Just joking, but pretty much.
5 days in Vegas, man.
It really
It's a
takes
lot.
it out of you.
Yeah.
The heat.
That,
being
dude,
in the
that
casinos.
freaking heat.
Yeah, what was the temperature?
It was like somewhere
hell.
between 105 and 110.
Hell
Jesus
was
every day.
Was listening to the broadcast of this game, and they were saying they were expecting record highs of 117 over the weekend.
Yeah,
so
let me tell you, we got out of there.
Thank you.
We got out just in
right.
time.
And then we avoided when the tornado hit. How all that stuff in the airport looked, man. I don't know if you
Oh,
saw
yeah.
pictures of that.
People
but my
Yesterday,
God,
O'Hare had that
Hunkering
like
down in the
dude.
caution in place or
Walkway.
whatever. Yeah.
Yes, dude. It was no. I would have lost my mind, dog. Coming back from Vegas and having to deal with that. Nah, would have lost it, bro.
And right when we
Yes, Lord.
got off the plane, we saw that there was that kind of creepy news about like a gunman in Caesar's Palace, and there was like people throwing
furniture out of his
outside the
window from like the
windows.
30th floor or whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like we
didn't see that till I
got
left
out
the
of there
airport.
in the nick
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah, we left right on time.
You know what? I would go so far as to say we did not get out of there in the nick of time. We stayed 2 days too long. but that was the business trip as it was called for.
I'll rephrase. Had we stayed there any longer, things might
5
have
days
gone.
in Vegas is just too damn many, man. But we had an awesome time.
did.
Thank you all out there in Bulls Nation who tuned into our content.
Thank y'all.
Did a bunch of fun shows from all over Circle Resort and Casino. One more shout out to them. Amazing hosts, our home base throughout our summer league stay. And with that, let us now move to they're still playing out there in the desert.
They are.
Bless their hearts. The Bulls fell to the Cavs. 87-83 was the final this afternoon. Pretty ugly affair. There were a few things I liked, but I guess we
slid that one in. You're not wrong, my friend.
Yeah,
you are not
no.
wrong.
I mean, let's call a spade a spade. These 4 games of Summer League have been hard to watch. Dalen Terry, Bulls Summer League captain, more or less. 27 minutes, 12 points on 4 of 13. I know you touched on Dalen's shooting woes in your episode yesterday with Mark Will. More of the same today. 0 of 4 from downtown for Dalen, who in 1 or maybe 2 of these games in Summer League has shown us some confidence and ability to knock down threes. Not today. And I mean, at this point, when we keep asking ourselves and our fellow Bulls fans, what does Dalen need to do to actually get minutes and earn some trust from Billy Donovan next season? The first thing on the list has got to be being a confident, reliable shooter. You know, we know he's not going to be asked to play point guard, which is good because his handles are a work in progress, to put it kindly. But, I mean, another poor shooting day from Dalen Terry. It's frustrating.
So I was doing the math yesterday after their 3rd game, so I'm going to try to do some mental math here on the fly.
Okay.
While I pull up some stats.
Mental math.
So we'll see how this goes. But 4 of 13 shooting today. Obviously not very good. He was 11 of 42 prior to that, so 15 of 55. You can do the math on the percentage there from the field, and 4 of 14 prior to today, plus 0 for 4 today from 3, so that's 4 of 18.
4 of 18 from 3 across all 4 Summer League games.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
Is that a toilet? Damn. I thought that was drums.
It was a drum roll.
Me too. I thought it was a drum. I was waiting for it to hit.
I was like, what?
I was like, is it going to hit?
Is happening?
That was a flushing sound of a toilet.
So that would
I
be
see. All right.
27% from the field, 22% from 3.
Ugh.
Coming in hot. Yikes.
Not great.
See
Bob.
red.
Yeah.
See red.
Oh, my goodness. Gary in the comments saying Dalen Terry now the Bulls' 15th best player. We aren't even at a roster 15 yet, are we? We'll talk about Julian Phillips' contract later on. But Gary also said, can someone draw him a picture of the basket and show it to him? I mean,
That's very mean. Let me get in on this.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Let's hear from the Dalen believer.
Because, again, I've obviously watched the game much differently. I really do. I think I really do watch the game much differently. But I'm not going to argue facts. That's what I'm not going to do. The shooting has not been good and has been trash. And the numbers back that up. When you're in 20%, forget from three-point line, from field goal percentage, that's just not good at all. When I'm sitting there watching him, and I'm sitting there enjoying when he gets the ball and he's out in transition and he's creating like that. And I'm loving that. Every time I watch that, I love it. I like that he doesn't get down on himself. You know, when he missed the alley-oop dunk and watch him go up, and I said, oh, damn. I promise I've seen that break players in the Summer League, and they wouldn't do it again. Dalen, next possession, gets the steal top of the key, goes length of the court, slams it with 2 hands. Like, I like that. I like that it doesn't affect him. I like the confidence that he continues to shoot it. The 3-point shots in this one, I thought it was because he was tired. Because, you know, when you're shooting and everything is front of the rim, that usually means you don't have the legs. So that's how I looked at him when he was shooting those threes. They were the right threes to take. Of course, he missed them. Like, can't debate that, can't argue none of that. But him getting those rebounds and starting to break and finding those guys, I enjoyed. Him breaking down the defense when he actually would cut and go to the basket and the defense would collapse on him and he would toss that out. A beautiful pass every time, with either inside or out. He was finding the open man and the ball would get to rotating to other players and they would score that way. I watched how he would set that up. And I like those aspects of his game, man. Like, that's the stuff I started looking at because obviously it wasn't going to be the shooting. So those things I like, and I enjoyed the leadership from him. And that's what I liked about his game.
I think a lot of times when you have these conversations about young players or guys that are struggling in general, it's like, oh, this guy can't shoot. This guy isn't good. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to frame it that way. I think there are areas of his game that obviously need improvement, but I also think that there are things he can work on that will make life a lot easier on himself, where right now it's just like really difficult for him to get any space. So
It's because he can't create it.
Exactly. And I think the ball handling, we've talked about it a lot at this point, but like that's going to be the number one thing, because you're right. Like when he has space, whether it's transition, whether it's coming off a screen, you can really see him like show off the things that he does do really well, which are passing, which are drawing help and kicking it out, which are finishing in transition, even getting around guys. Like if he's got a guy trailing him, he's able to finish.
Yeah,
we saw that a couple times today too. Yeah. So the jump shot needs a lot of work. I don't necessarily expect him to like create offense for himself at the NBA level. He obviously needs to be able to shoot and make an open three. That's going to really change the way that defenses guard him, which is going to make it easier for him to do the driving. But like when he catches the ball and he starts to like drive, it's usually somebody cuts him off and then he has to like do that little behind the back dribble and then back out, and then the whole offense needs to reset. And when you do that at the NBA level, it's kind of like just not shooting a three or dribbling into a closeout and having to just reset the whole possession. So I think that there are things he can do that will make him better. But he's a ways away. And I don't want to say that he'll never be able to do them, because I think the things that he does do well indicate to me that like there is a player there. Yeah. It's just that he needs to do some of the work, and I'm sure he's doing it, but he needs to get better at certain things that will help unlock those skills. And right now it's just been a real struggle for him. Again, I don't want to like say he can never do this. I don't want to say he's just a trash player, because I don't see it that way.
20% is 20%.
He has not scored the ball well. That's one element of the game. But there are things he can do that will really open the rest of his game up. And these are the situations you need to put him in to be able to start to grow in those areas. Yeah,
and when you get that opportunity to get in those positions, he honestly always felt like the dirty work guy to me, to a much lesser extent, like a Draymond Green kind of guy. But just always doing the dirty work, like can do a little bit of everything, a jack of all trades and a master of none, kind of situation. That's how I always looked at him. And that's why I was like, oh, man, if he can master this aspect of it, then I know he could be right as far as the ball handling and the shooting. It hasn't happened in year 2 for him. Like, oh, my God, he didn't become a three-point shooter in 2 years. But, yeah, so I'm not giving up on Dalen at all. That's fine. If Bulls Nation wants to call him – I saw somebody call him Marcus Teague. Like, God damn, bro.
Ouch.
Y'all move fast. Move swift out here. But that's okay. I'm completely all right with that, man, and that kind of reaction from Bulls fans. Same ones who told me Lowry was trash. Like, I'm okay with all of this. That's cool with me. But I still believe in Dalen. There's a lot of his game that I just really do like. But the shooting and the ball is glaring, and you cannot be that bad, at shooting those three-point shots.
It makes life so much harder on him.
Yeah.
And, yeah, again, I'm not going to, like, sit here and say he's never going to be good, but there are key areas of weakness that he needs to work on that I really think will help him. And maybe he gets there, maybe he doesn't, but I'm kind of with you at this point. Like, Adam Spinella, remember last year at the draft, we had him come on and give his analysis of the pick, Coach Spins, from the Box and One. He came on and said, Dalen's probably never going to average double figures.
I remember.
And, like, I don't think that's changed. That's not the role he's asked to do. It's not what got him drafted.
Nope.
Would it be great to see him dominate Summer League the way that other second-year players have? Of course.
Sure.
But I don't think that, prevents him from being able to be impactful in other areas. We've seen that happen.
Yeah.
It just may not be in the way that, this guy scored 25 points on 15 shots.
Right.
We got at least one other Dalen believer still along with you, Dave, hanging out in the comments. Freddie saying, DT will be all right. Just needs to keep grinding low-key. He's a baller. That is about the lowest key version of a baller that I am aware of.
Oh, my God.
Just based on current evidence. There's no slight intended. We know what ballers are.
20%
you talking about
is
NBA
20%.
Ballers? Low key is it?
20% is 20%. Bro.
Yeah,
like nobody's out here debating or arguing that.
Evan in the comments said Dalen ain't it. Dalen looks worse than JFL, Phillips, and Sanogo. On that note, let's talk about a bright spot from not only today's game, but I also certainly believe in their third game on Tuesday night. Julian Phillips, who sat out game 1 because of the contract thing, played game 2 while we were out there in Vegas watching him and looked nervous, tentative, flat out bad. Game 3 looked confident when he would get those catch and shoot opportunities, especially from the corner, knocked down some threes, and was very active on the glass. And then today, you saw maybe not the knockdown 3-point shooting as much and only had 2 rebounds, but still just very active. What I liked about him today, he got to the free throw line 5 times.
Yeah.
If you are flying around, getting active, making things happen in the paint, attacking the offensive glass, that is one way to get to the free throw line. I like that from Phillips today, who had 12 points on 4 of 10. I got no complaints from his game today, and I really liked his game Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, I was told he was trash though when he got drafted. That's what I was told by a lot of people out there. What are they drafting him for? This is stupid. He can't play. They got another guy. You can't do anything.
Okay, well, so
that's what I heard.
Bulls,
I'm just telling you what I heard.
Bulls fans who saw his 3-point percentage at Tennessee had a fair complaint.
Yeah.
If what they wanted was more shooting on this team and addressing your needs via the draft before free agency, not finding a shooter.
Sure.
But maybe that's just what he shot in college, and like
I said,
it's not just that he knocked down the threes. I thought his form looked like something that could be a reliable 3-point stroke in the NBA.
Correct. No, I'm just talking about the immediate overreaction is what I'm talking before anybody knew anything about him and didn't do any research on him or find out who he is. Yeah, that's all I'm talking
Immediately
about.
overreacting?
Yeah, it's a new thing. They just started this year. But now I'm just laughing because now it's like, start him over Dalen. Give him Dalen's minutes now. Like, that's all it took was 2 summer league games. That's it. And we on this? That's cool. But yes, Julian Phillips looked really, really good. I love the way he is always around the basket. Always. When that ball goes up, he's in the paint. Like, that's what's happening. He's scheming on it. He had my favorite play of the whole game when my man Nate Darling, a.k.a. I call him Natty Ice now. That's what I call him now. Natty Ice. He's on his way to Natty Legend. Man. He's on his way. He's on his way, but he's Natty Ice. No, actually, no. I'm going to call him Natty Light.
Natty
That's
Light?
what we're going to do. Natty Light.
Dude, Natty Ice is way more intimidating of a nickname.
It is.
For an athlete. Because Natty Light is like, dude, you can feed a baby Natty Light instead of,
Please
baby
don't
formula.
feed a baby Natty Light, Matt.
It's the same thing as baby formula.
Please don't feed a baby Natty Light.
Whereas Natty Ice has a little extra punch to it, you know?
Ice you're not giving a baby, but Natty Light you giving a baby? Oh, my God. Get this man away from children, please. Oh,
hey, I got great references.
Okay.
Ask my sister how safe I kept my nieces for an entire week.
They're sleeping so long.
Yeah, they're sleeping because I gave them some Natty Ice.
Give them some Matt juice, Uncle Matt.
That is a joke.
These are jokes.
I've never fed any human babies alcohol.
He's never done it. but the play, he takes the shot, it goes up, and you watch Phillips coming in from the baseline, and he creates a 50-50 ball. Because he goes up and he tips it, and he creates it, and which allows Sanogo to get the ball, get the rebound, and secure it, kick it back out to Darling for another 3 that was cash money. That's the kind of stuff that gets you on the floor. Those are winning plays. That's winning basketball stuff. You saw a little bit more of his athleticism in this game as well, man. Him getting to the cup, him getting to the bucket. The defense is definitely there. My God, the length is crazy on him. Like, those passes, they were trying to get out to the top of the key. He would get his hand in on several of those. So I enjoyed watching him play, man. Like, I watch him now in Summer League just more for the IQ stuff because I know what you could do defensively. Obviously, the 3-point shooting and things like that. But I watch him like, what's going to get you on the floor? And those kind of plays that I just mentioned is stuff that's going to get you on the floor on any team like that. So I like what I saw about Phillips in these 2 games, man. I'm glad he's showing Bulls fans that, yeah, dude, I can play.
Yeah, he just has a good nose for the ball. He had a couple of steals, 1 pass away, just top of the key, on like a lazy side-to-side pass, run out. He had another play, offensive putback, like maybe the next possession or 2 possessions after that, where he scored himself on a putback. I'm with you that, like, there's obviously like a couple of skills there that are really intriguing. I also think, Matt, you and I talked to him after the first game that he played. He's a really quiet, timid kid. Yeah. And I think it's gonna take some time for him to build up some confidence in his game. But those are the kinds of plays that are like, oh, that's like a great thing that he did that he can point to and be like, yeah, I'm able to play at this level. And so I really love to see that. I think the shooting is going to take some time. We saw him go 3 for 3. We saw him go 0 for 4. Obviously, the average is going to be somewhere in the middle, but like, if you're playing in a primarily spot-up shooting role at the NBA level, you want to be able to like hit 1 or 2 from 4 or 5 every game, not like go 100% one game and 0% the next. I think that consistency is going to take some time. I think he's clearly shown that he's better than the 24% or whatever percent he shot in college, and that there's certainly room for, legit development there. So I really like what we've seen from him. I think he needs to just read and understand the game better, but you could even see the progress of like him and his awareness of just like not being so overwhelmed by the speed of the game, the physicality of the game around him from game to game. I think he's going to keep getting better and better, but again, we talk about the overreactions, we talk about lack of patience. Like it's going to be some time for him. He's a second round pick. He's got his guaranteed money, which is great. He's going to be around, but I think, the Bulls don't have that young player that's going to turn into, LaMelo Ball or Tyrese Halliburton or, one of these guys that just like immediate impact at like an all-star level. They just don't have that guy, and that's okay. You can still develop into something. You can still have an impact on a game without necessarily needing to be like franchise cornerstone material. It's just going to take some more time.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, Quinn, they don't have a lot of guys like him on the team, just those long athletic guys like who like showing, their athleticism on a constant basis. Like, so that kind of activity, along with, like you said, working on the IQ and his awareness and things like that, will get him on the floor, hopefully.
Before we take our first break, 23 Osak with a super chat in the comments. Thank you. Saying shooting and dribbling are important in basketball. I assume we're talking about Dalen again. Acme needs to draft players, not traits. If you can't shoot, why are you in the NBA?
That's right, Draymond Green. Why are you in the NBA and you can't shoot?
Get out of my head, Dave. That is the first name that came to mind. Hall of Famer, first ballot, Draymond Green.
It just depends on like the team around you.
Right, exactly.
Draymond's going to struggle in a role where he has to be primary scorer.
Yeah. When Alex Caruso hits threes, we're surprised. It's a nice bonus from what we expect from him.
It's not what he does.
First team all defense.
Yeah.
That is a valuable piece to have on your basketball team. But as you just said, Will, it's about how the other pieces are built around you, which is why it's a fair gripe when you talk about AK and Eversley clearly seem to have a type when they are targeting people in the draft specifically. Patrick Williams, although credit to him, he has developed that three-point shot. Dalen Terry last year, Julian Phillips again this year. Maybe he is developing a three-point shot, but Io. Drafting Dalen, who clearly was not a immediate, hey, this guy can make threes for us, in last year's draft is a valid frustration for Bulls fans to have when it's like, not necessarily to say you need to draft for need, but did they pass up on some guys who could shoot that went later than Dalen in last year's draft that got minutes for their teams? Yes. Yes, they did.
Well, I think so far it's just been this bet on being able to develop shooting, and it just hasn't worked across the board. And so I think this guy, Peter Patton, who's coming in to be the director of player development, that is going to be key. The fact that they didn't do that before, it's similar to like signing Goran Dragic and Andre Drummond at the offseason is your only things. It's like they should have had this current offseason last year, right? Like we kind of are late to the party on that. It's the same thing with the shooting, and now we've gone a full year of Dalen's career without really being able to help him develop his shooting.
Right, correct.
If they're going to make this bet, they need to invest every damn resource that they can find into teaching these guys how to shoot, because you can't teach the athleticism that Julian Phillips has. He has a 43-inch vertical. You're not going to find guys like that. So, okay, if that's what you want to prioritize, if that's what you want to roll with, fine. But the skill part has to be developed. It has to be prioritized once you get to the NBA level. They just haven't really been able to do that. So this is going to be, I think, a really important year for all the young guys, not just Julian, not just Dalen, with this new developmental program that they're trying to implement here to just teach these guys how to shoot and not just like do the Patrick thing. Again, I've said this a million times on the show. Patrick can shoot, right? He's developed into a guy who can pull the trigger.
Definitely.
He turned some down. He did shoot, I think like almost 4 threes a game, shot at over 40%. Like that's fantastic. But he's still turning threes down. He's passing out of them. He's stepping backwards onto the line and stepping out of bounds or turning the ball over or resetting the offense, whatever it is. They need guys who are shooters, not just guys who can shoot. And I don't know that you can develop guys who are non-shooters into guys who can shoot, into guys that are shooters. I'm not sure if that trajectory is possible. But, I mean, they need to invest every resource they can, because it seems like this philosophy of drafting these toolsy wings is not going anywhere.
Toolsy.
Toolsy. I like that one. Let's take our first break. We come back. We'll dive into some interesting words from Bulls VP Arturas Karnisovas during his in-game interview of the Bulls' Tuesday night Summer League game. And then we will also touch a bit more on Phillips' new contract details after that. While we are sharing these words from our friends and sponsors, do us a quick, simple favor. Our producer, Sarah, just told you so in the comments from the CHGO Sports account. Hit that thumbs up button. It's quick, it's easy, it takes you half a second, and it helps us out a lot. We appreciate it. Also, if you aren't already, hit that subscribe button so you make sure you get alerts every time we go live here at CHGO Bulls. It's the little one that looks like a bell. Hit the bell button, as well as the thumbs up button. Big Dave, who's first?
Holler at Baby Joey.
Baby Joe!
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure he was okay. You know what I mean?
Did he survive his time in Vegas?
Oh, he always survives. You know, that's how he rolls.
Always.
You know, even when he wasn't here on Earth, he was still surviving Vegas. It's impressive. But it's impressive. It's impressive. It's impressive. But, you know, I hit him up. I was like, yo, you know, was your flight out? Because last time I flew in on a private jet with Wimby, is what he told me last time. So I was like, how did you fly out this time? He said, no, he road tripped it with Anthony Kiedis, Jenna Ortega, and Flea.
Wow.
Hanging out with those people. So I'm just an eclectic bunch.
Is he joining the Chili Peppers?
He wouldn't tell me. He would just literally show up, you know, like, yeah, I got a song credit on that. And I'm like, really? Wait, what? You play bass? Like, you ain't do? Fascinating character. But he said while they were riding, sun was not in his eyes. Why? Why weren't they in his eyes? Because he understood.
He understood.
But sometimes they don't understand. And a lot of times they never understood. Ever. They don't get it. Why? Why are these glasses so expensive? Why you got to pay so much money to look awesome? Huh? Nobody gets it. You know who else don't get it? Shady Rays. They don't understand, so they did something about it. That independent sunglasses company offers that world-class product just as good as any expensive pair you ever put on your face. The durable frames, the extremely clear optics for your outdoor, and as this man who has gotten himself back in here and is feeling a little bit better is about to prove, your indoor adventures. Oh, look at him. Look at this man. And also, the Matt Peck Lost and Broken Replacements plan. Oh, there it is. Oh, we didn't see one of those the entire time in Vegas.
I didn't want to hit a stranger on the streets of Vegas with my hat.
Smart man. I appreciate you.
Also didn't want to lose a hat in Vegas.
Well, I think it's more that.
It's for sure the second one.
But let's say those glasses are on that hat. They would break. They would throw them into the wall. They would go in half, and that would not be happy. But he puts those in a package, sends them right on back to Shady Rays. Guess what? Right back on his face. Free pair. No questions asked. Replacement. And let's say you was looking at the GOAT out in Vegas and you said them glasses on his face. I want them on my face. I can look that awesome and cool. And as soon as you put them on your face, you said, I've made a huge mistake. Because I cannot look that awesome and cool. I cannot be the
Nobody can look as awesome as cool as the GOAT at Stadium Swim.
Can't do it.
It's impossible.
Not a thing you can do.
Never going to live that down. And I didn't even do anything. I was just standing there watching TV.
He's so upset.
And you looked majestically
it was the
wonderful.
way you looked.
You did look like you were modeling.
And I was like, well, here's a great opportunity to give Shady Rays a shout out. Look at this handsome man.
Just not his thing. He doesn't want to give off all that. He's like, oh, it's about the coiffness.
He's humble.
That's what he's about. Very humble individual. But also he likes nothing. So
That's true. I hate everything.
He hates everything, man. But let's say your glasses are on him. You want to get your own pair and look like yourself. Send that pair back to Shady Rays. You'll get yourself a brand new pair that fits you as long as you do it within 30 days. It'll be free with no questions asked. So, exclusive for the listener out there, Shady Rays giving away the best deal of the season. Go to ShadyRays.com. Use the promo code CHGO for 50% off of 2+ pairs of premium polarized shades. Try for yourself. Oh, that feels good.
It's back.
Yes. The shades that are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Because the Shady Rays, well, the Rays are so shady. You know what you do? You should watch Sarah when I'm doing that ad. Because she's just waiting on me to say Shady Rays just so she can hit the button and put Shady Rays at the bottom.
It's
she's
all
just looking
timed
at me
and
like,
calculated.
When's he going to say it? When's he going to say it? Say it. There it is.
Anywhere from 45 to 85 second lead in.
No, honest to God, yeah.
Before he says
right.
the words Shady Rays for the first time.
It's all timed.
Hey, wonderful throw. That's a great
I didn't
throw.
want to catch a brim to the face, but I almost just let that finish its flight path to see if it landed on my head. It was a good toss, Lawrence. You know who else offers good tosses in the ways of cost and energy savings?
Segway Peck. Who
Got
that?
it!
Oh,
Their energy efficiency program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve. helping manage energy usage and lower those pesky energy bills now and into the future. Comet offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across their great territory. Comet also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, and industrial processes.
Now, Goat, you're probably wondering, what's the rest of that? I forgot.
You were right there.
Right there.
What was I wondering?
You were probably thinking to yourself, gee, that sounds great, but how does it work?
How does it work? Thank you for reminding me.
I'll tell you, Peck. An authorized engineer works with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and your needs, because I know you got both. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Then, within 3 to 4 weeks, customers receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects they can start working on right away. Each recommendation includes estimated energy savings, cost savings, money in your pocket, project cost, potential incentives, and simple payback plans. If you own a business, 1, kudos, that's dope. 2, don't wait. Start saving money and energy today. How do you do that? For energy saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Is that ComEd.com/poweringbiz?
That's right. ComEd.com/poweringbiz, B-I-Z biz. Schedule your appointment today. I know Herb's got his appointment scheduled. Right, Herb? Hey.
Oh, man. Y'all are ridiculous.
It's nice to be back home.
It is.
Back home in the studio.
It is nice to be home.
All these cheerful
Sean's
CHGO
here. Hey, Sean.
people.
Oh, man, I'll tell you all about it.
Satan's
Summer
butthole, a.k.a. Las Vegas.
Thank you, sir. Your beard looks amazing, by the way. You see the beard on Sean? Look at that. Thank you, sir. That beard is something else. That thing is nice. With the chain blinking, I like this. This is all right.
Sean has a beard?
You are out of it.
I didn't know. I didn't even see him.
You are truly
I mean,
out of it, sir.
I said hello to him right when he walked in today, just briefly.
So
but
you did see him, and you still didn't recognize he had a beard on his face. Yeah, you're
Dude.
done. You're done, man. You're done. It's not even a shadow either.
Oh,
like, it's a full
now I
beard.
see it. That is glorious.
It's not even a shadow beard. Like, it's a full thing.
You grow that while we were gone?
It's impressive, sir. 2 weeks.
That checks out. I've been gone for 2 weeks.
There you go. And I think you're still gone right now. But we're going to bring you back because we got more things to discuss.
I'm making my way back slowly. All right. Some of y'all may have caught this if you were watching the Bulls Summer League game against the Kings on Tuesday night. In case you didn't, we'll give you the highlights. Bulls VP Arturas Karnisovas sat in one of those awkward picture-in-picture sideline interviews with the NBA broadcast on ESPN2 during the Bulls broadcast Tuesday night while they were playing. Couple of quotes that I wanted to touch on as he was answering questions about the Bulls, their offseason moves, coming out of last season, looking ahead to next one. He had an answer talking about the moves that they've made and keeping this core together as opposed to splitting up Zach, DeMar, Vooch. But he said this.
All right.
Quote, "We just tried to add to that group. I think the parity in the league is obvious. We lost a lot of close games last year. So we added a couple of guys, and hopefully the parity in the league will help us compete in every game."
Okay.
You may not be surprised to hear that quote drives me crazy.
Why does this drive you crazy, Matt?
Because he's trying to – it sounds like he's trying to bank on the parity in the league being something that is to the Bulls' advantage. How can that be to your advantage if it is the parity across the entire league? What – I mean – what are you talking about?
Who are you talking to?
I mean, did you guys interpret that differently? Did that make sense to you, the way that he talked about the parity in the league being something that's going to be like working in the Bulls' favor by keeping the core together and adding a couple complementary pieces?
I guess he's saying, well, this is just me assuming things right now. But I guess he's saying since, the games were so close last year, since we improved, and since the league is, at that parity at that point, and we were still close, now that we improved and gotten better, we should be able to compete with that now. Like, that's how I'm assuming that's how he meant that. It don't sound right at all, and I understand why people are frustrated with it. So I'm not going to sit and defend it like that. But that's kind of how I'm assuming that he meant that. But again, the man's not good at speaking words like that.
Yeah, but okay, so I'd been feeling that way too, Dave, of like, we probably shouldn't just like kill Arturas. It's not, English is not his first language. You know, like, I think obviously he's struggled to get a message across to fans in a way that's like optimism building. But that's part of the job too.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that he really hasn't been able to communicate the plan, he hasn't been able to communicate to the fans, like, legitimately why the team should be like improving. I don't know. I think that is part of his responsibility as the head decision maker to be able to, you know, synthesize what they're trying to do and why they feel they'll be better. Now, did they add talent that's going to make them better? I believe so.
Yeah.
But also, like, you can't just bank on, because there's no, like, you know, Warriors and Cavs that's going to be in the finals 4 straight years. Because there isn't one of those teams, like, it's okay for us to not try to improve.
Right.
I think had he said something like this last year, it would have been really, like, bizarre and infuriating. But this year it's like, well, he did try to make some moves. I think he accomplished what honestly I believe was like probably one of the best possible outcomes given what financial limitations that they impose on themselves, right? They don't need to not go into the tax. They just choose not to. So given that reality, for them to go get guys that I thought were out of their price range against, you know, outbidding other teams that I thought that those guys, all things being equal, would rather go to, considering they're more competitive than the Bulls. I thought they did a really good job. But to sort of say, well, there's nobody else that's really that impressive around the rest of the league, so we should be fine. I just think like that's kind of not the way that you should look at your team.
I agree with that.
And I think we'll talk about it in this next quote here, but like, to me, if you are, so I think Bulls fans think about the Bulls like this glamour market. Obviously, it's like the 3rd biggest media market in the league.
Glamour.
But like, I don't think the Bulls think of themselves as like an LA, Miami, a New York, right? And so they're not going out there to try to like win the battle for free agents all the time.
Right.
I think that's a mistake. I think they should be trying to do that.
Yeah, agreed.
But also, even beyond like, what did we do to deserve this? It's like, if you are a big team in a big city, you have that working to your advantage. You need to sell that as a reason why you can go get big free agents. You need to use that like financial advantage that you have in one of those markets to be able to invest resources on the developmental staff, in the front office. I think for them to not constantly be thinking like, how are we going to get our way to the top? I just think that's like a real missed opportunity. You see teams like the Lakers, like the Heat, who are never thinking of themselves as anything less than a finals contender.
Yeah.
And like, if that's your mentality about yourself, if that's your perception of yourself, you're going to be taking action to try to get to that point.
True.
And I just don't think the Bulls view themselves that way. And that's why like this next quote of wanting to be a tough out is like, again, I don't want to kill him for like not saying necessarily the right thing, but being a tough out is explicitly saying you don't care if you don't win, you just want to have competitive losses. And like, that is just simply not okay. I mean, if you are a basketball team or any sports team, your goal should not be to lose competitively. It should be to win.
Yeah. And I mean, in just a little bit of his defense, maybe that's what he was trying to say when he said we lost a lot of close games last year. That's him trying to argue, well, you know, we're right there. Or last year we were right there. We lost a lot of close games that if we win the majority of those close games instead of losing them, we're not, you know, 10th and in the play-in. We're somewhere closer to being the 6th seed that we were last year, which, again, if as a Bulls fan that is not good enough for you either, then that's a separate conversation. But he's saying we lost a lot of close games. We could have won those. And we kept this core and added to it. And look, I think at least for the most part, the three of us are on the same page in that Torrey Craig and Javon Carter will make this team better next
Absolutely.
season. Will make this team better. How much better is the question, and did AK do enough is the question. You mentioned that that other thing he said about what they managed to prove last year, Will. Sarah, if you want to put that other quote up now, we can get to that one. Talking about what else? Of course, that post-All-Star break record that they're so proud of. We proved last season, our record after the All-Star game, 14-9, that we had a very good record against good teams last year. We just needed to be more consistent. Chicago, we always want every game to be a tough out. As you were saying, Will, like kind of loser mentality stuff. Maybe it's just AK not having the exactly perfect phrase that he meant to use there.
That's what I looked at, because for real, that sounds like something Tibbs was saying about every game they would play. You know what I mean? Like, I want to play hard every game. I want it to be tough for these teams every game.
And again,
that's kind of how I looked at that.
I don't want to crush him for semantics, because I don't think that's fair. But I do think that, to me, that indicates this mentality that a championship is not, maybe it's like setting the expectation lower. Maybe it's just like not picking the right words. But I just think your ultimate goal should be trying to win the championship. That's what mine would be if I was in that job. Obviously, only one team can win it every year. And so like the idea that it's championship or bust, that if you don't win a title, you're a failure, I think that is overstated, and I think it's kind of unfair. But the goal should still be to try to win.
Yeah, sure.
I think those two things are like not the same.
But now this is probably a deeper conversation to say this, but you wonder if everybody was on that same page. You know what I mean? That is in that front office. Is
clearly
everybody
not.
on the same page
kind of my point.
of winning a championship? Even if he is in that mentality of that. The reason, like when you bring up those teams like the Lakers and the Miami Heat and even the Celtics, everybody's on one accord though. Everybody, that person handing out the money to the person that is selling the drinks, is still on one accord. You know what I mean? In that front office, everybody wants to do that. Is it like that here? That's probably a bigger conversation, you know what I'm saying, than this right here. But I think that point is valid to be brought up, especially when you're the guy running the team, because regardless of that fact, you're still the face of the team. So you're the person out there delivering the message. Whatever it is, whatever mixed it is, you know, if you're delivering the message to the fans, it should still be, dude, no, we're trying to win. Like, that's the whole point of this.
Yeah, and I think, again, I'm like doing what I say I'm not going to be doing, which is arguing the semantics here. But like, to me, it's like, instead of just saying, look, we were 14-9 after the All-Star break, we're actually a good team that just like got unlucky in some close games. We didn't win. We didn't accomplish our goal, but we feel like we're taking steps to get there, and there is to be contending for a championship. Right. That's where we want to be, and we are taking moves to get there. Right. That's all you need to say. That would, I think, satisfy a lot of fans.
I agree.
Which is just as simple as saying, like, we weren't good enough, but we're trying to get there, and we're doing everything that we can to try to improve to that level, and that level is to compete for titles. That's all it is. You don't have to just say, like, we're trying to be a tough out in the play-in tournament. You know, I just think that that's setting up fans for disappointment even before anything happens, because you're admitting that you're just not trying to win at a high level.
Chirac Bobby in the comments, I almost forgot. They lost to horrendous teams last year. Rockets, Spurs, Pacers, Wizards, Magic, Hornets, swept by the Thunder. Factually correct across the board there. You may have even missed one or two. And the Bulls had so many bad losses last year.
Don't forget Minnesota.
Like, pull your hair out losses. And then so when AK says something like he did in that interview on Tuesday night, like, well, we beat a lot of really good teams last year. Yeah, but you also lost to a bunch of stinkers. So you can't hang your hat on good wins over quality opponents if you ended as a 10th seed because you couldn't beat the junk teams. You can't do that.
Can't do it.
I also think, can you put that comment back up, Sarah, about like the teams that they, so the Rockets, the Spurs, the Pacers, the Wizards, the Magic, the Hornets, the Thunder. Which of those teams is going to be worse next year? None of them. They're all on the up. I think, you know, you can maybe point to
the
like
Wizards.
Sure, yeah, that's a good point. You can point to maybe like one or two teams in each conference that's going to be trying to tank, and obviously over the course of the season, that changes. Right? Like teams realize, well, we're actually not this good. Maybe we go towards the bottom in the second half, like the Blazers did this past year. But all these teams are getting better. And so, again, going back to the thing of parity, yes, you're maybe not like so far behind some of these other teams, and you've shown you can compete with them, but it's not like it's getting any easier. And so I think that's where the frustration was last summer. Again, I really want to credit AK for doing a fantastic job bringing in two really high-level role players that will help them win games next year. But I don't think that necessarily like precludes them from trying to do even more to try to improve. And I think that's where it just seems like they've kind of fallen a little bit short in that, like, they're not like always willing to take the big swings. I mean, you look at the Celtics, they traded the heart and soul of that team, Marcus Smart, to try to bring in a player that could be a boom, could be a bust, but like they're taking constant steps to try to win the championship. Again, they are a higher level team.
Yeah.
The Bulls are out of that range, but like
Very much so.
it's an example of teams taking risks, breaking up a core that they know works to try to get better. I think it's always about just trying to get better. And maybe this was the only way they could do that this year. Again, I don't want to crush AK because I think in a lot of ways it's just semantics. And I also think he did a really good job bringing in guys. I want to keep saying that because I know the comments are going to hate me for being negative. But I think you have to be constantly looking to improve.
Careful, Will. You don't want to go the other direction too far and be too forgiving to AK because then you're going to get heat from the other side from the Bulls fans who think AK has an IQ of -6.
I'm just trying to be fair.
Right.
No, just be you, bro.
Speaking of being fair, Adam Hurley in the comments, what do the Bulls even do in free agency? Nothing. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a gaslighting idiot. Don't spread misinformation to make your fellow Bulls fans as dumb as you are.
Damn.
Signing Torrey Craig and Javon Carter are two things that are not nothing. If you have legitimate, valid complaints about the Bulls not doing enough or the specific things you wanted in this offseason free agency period, fine. Then express those opinions in ways that aren't nonsense, that aren't bullshit, that aren't flat out wrong.
Facts is what he's saying. Just more facts.
Please speak in facts.
That's all he wants. That's all he wants. Just more facts.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we will touch on the Julian Phillips contract deets that we got for Bobby Marks yesterday. Good news, bad news. Do we like the 4-year compared to the 2-year? Throw us your thoughts on that as well in the comments. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that thumbs up button. Watch along on YouTube. We appreciate it. Helps us out a lot. Big Dave. Who's next?
Pins and Aces.
Oh!
They do stuff.
Woo!
And what they do, make that awesome
Kept me
golf
cool
apparel.
in Vegas with that
They
super
did.
breathable shirt.
That is very, very true.
Damn,
That's
that was
exactly what they
comfy.
do. That is true, man. But that gear is made for the GOAT because he's the golfer among us. You know what I mean? It's a guy who's out there on the links doing his thing.
True story.
Ty Rose. Again,
No guts,
among
no
us.
glory.
Among us. This is how he rolls, ladies and gentlemen. And so when he's out there doing his thing, he's going to rock the official golf apparel of ALLCITY and CHGO. Because we love our Pins and Aces gear. And he gets tons of compliments of it on and off the course. Family-owned golf apparel business. Make those amazing polos, the hats, the golf bags, and, of course, the Matt Peck beer sleeve where you can fit a 6er and a roadie inside of that joint and then put it in your bag. Keep your stuff frosty cold for the whole round, or if you're hanging with us, half that round. So check out pinsandaces.com and use the code CHGO. Get yourself 15% off your first order. And also, here's a little bit of free shipping. Why not? Because you're awesome. Because it's Pins and Aces. Because when you look good, you play good. And when you play good, it's all good.
All good. Speaking of which, we have our first CHGO golf outing coming up.
Yes.
I believe.
It's happening.
The CHGO Kickoff Classic. Friday, August 25th at Cog Hill Golf Course.
Heard it's nice.
Course number 2. Brought to you by Pins and Aces. The Big Drive Energy. For a second, I thought that was Big Dave Energy. And I was like, oh, Big Dave,
Same
are
thing.
you the CHGO's official spokesperson for this golf
Are you
tournament?
kidding me? Of course. Everything
Of course
about
he
me
is.
is about that golf life.
Also, did you see that we are making a CHGO version of a Pins and Aces shirt
I
there?
see it now, and I immediately have Greg in my head when I look
The
at this.
CHGO mascot Nux
Yes.
Immediately.
on a Pins and Aces shirt.
Oh, yeah.
If you sign up and participate with us in this fun CHGO Golf Kickoff Classic, you get a dope Pins and Aces CHGO shirt.
Looks dope.
Who doesn't
Looks
want
dope.
that? Sign up. CHGO Kickoff Classic.
Yeah.
Today is also brought to you by our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products.
Hey.
It's your one-stop shop for all cannabis needs, and they offer easy online ordering plus in-store pickup. An easy errand to add to your day in between any and all of your other various errands in your work life. Order online, pick up in store.
Yeah.
Also, they offer their great transparent loyalty rewards program that they call Sunnyside Rewards.
What's that?
Illinois' favorite dispensary, from the city to the suburbs, from Wrigleyville to River North, Champaign, even Beloit. So, head to your nearest Sunnyside location, get everything you need, get everything you want, try a bunch of different things. They've got tinctures, they've got flour for those of you who are old school. I'm still a little bit old school myself, but I'm getting...
You?
Yeah, I know. I am getting a little bit more into the gummies and the edibles these days.
Nice.
Good News Gummies, they offer those at Sunnyside locations. Delicious little tangerine flavored gummies. Man, I had one. Actually, I cut one in half and had one when we got
Ooh.
back from our Vegas return flight on Tuesday night.
Set you off right.
Treated me perfectly right.
Wonderful to hear.
Slept like a baby.
Like a baby.
So head to one of your Sunnyside locations or make those orders online. Now through August, head to sunnyside.shop. Use promo code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. One use per customer. Not stackable with other promotions they may offer. But that's not only for new customers. Everyone and anyone can use our promo code CHGO25. Pick up everything you need to elevate your summer. Must be 21 and over or an Illinois Med card holder. Weekend is right around the corner.
Right there.
Elevate your summer, elevate your weekend. Get yourself ready for a Sunnyside Summer Friday. Sunnyside.shop. Woo!
Necessary. Got to have it.
Gotta have it. Ooh, dude.
Cut a gummy in half. That's a new one for me.
Well, yeah. My weed tolerance is not what it once was in my youth.
Got you.
So, like, you know, a little goes a long way. So I think they're like 10 milligram gummies.
Okay.
Cut one of those in half. Have myself a little fiber.
How did I know he was going to say fiber?
Fiber and a
I
roadie?
knew he was about to say fiber. Looking at him, I was like, he's going to say fiber.
Calling from Milwaukee, talking.
Fiber and a roadie.
Oh, man. Fiber and a roadie. Is that how you roll? Fiber and a roadie? All right.
Sometimes.
All right.
Sometimes. How do you roll, Big
Not
Dave?
bad, man. Not bad, bro. Hey, I'm chilling.
Always chilling.
Always chilling.
All right, guys. With our time remaining, I know, Will, you touched on this with Mark K yesterday. Check out that HQ episode if you have not yet, Bulls fans, after we finish this one. Shout out to our guy, Mark K. Love him. This tweet from Bobby Marks came while you guys were broadcasting yesterday, so let's touch on it again because, Dave, I want to get your thoughts too.
Sure.
This from Bobby Marks late yesterday afternoon. Julian Phillips becomes the 12th second-round draft pick from the 23 draft out of 13 to sign a 4-year contract. Here you see the years broken down: $1.6 million this upcoming season, then 1.9, 2.2, 2.4 in the fourth and final team option year. The $5.7 million from the first 3 years in guaranteed money ranks second among all second-round picks from this draft class. What do we think? Big Dave, do you like the fact that they signed Phillips to a 4-year deal as a second-round pick as opposed to a 2-year deal, as we simultaneously are wondering what the heck is going on with Ayo Dosunmu and that qualifying offer? Are you glad they signed him to 4?
Yeah. I think this is kind of a reflection of the Ayo contract. You know, they didn't want to put themselves in that position again. But honestly, when I first look at this, it just amazes me what that CBA has kind of done, you know, for these guys. Because we're talking about a second-round, you know, draft pick, having these negotiations.
Getting nearly $6 million in guaranteed money.
That's wild. What an amazing time. Congratulations to him, by the way. I like the team option also. That they have for him, because I believe if they do pick it up, he is not a free agent if that happens. Am I right in this?
I'm not sure how this would affect restricted free agency.
Okay.
My guess is that it would be, I mean, it's a standard rookie deal, so I would imagine if they pick up the option that they would have as restricted rights.
Okay. But overall, no, I like the deal. It shows that they actually have belief in him as well, and what he can do on the floor. So it's telling you they're investing in him. Like Will talked earlier about investing, you know, in your players like that. This is what that is financially for the team, investing in a player even in the second round. So yeah, I'm okay with it because I think Julian Phillips can play, and obviously they think that as well, and they think there'll be some growth from him, and he's gonna get 4 years to do so here in Chicago. Yeah,
and it starts out as cheaper than the standard vet minimum. Which obviously is great for the Bulls this year because they're under a bit of a cap crunch. I totally agree. I mean, this is a big deal for the second round picks. It's a big deal for the teams. Now you don't have to dip into a biannual or to a mid-level exception in order to sign your second round picks. There's an exception built in the new CBA that allows you to sign your second round picks. So they're treating this a little bit more like first round draft picks in years past. And I totally agree with you, Dave, that this is just really good to get a guy locked in on a cheap contract who you can put into your developmental program and who you know is going to be around for at least 3 years. The Bulls have also given out a lot of player options over the past few years to try to get guys to, you know, take a contract with the Bulls. And so to get a team option on this, I think is really good. My guess is that they'll pick that up depending on how he performs. But for that kind of player in year 4, making like $2.2 million, like that could be a real value play for the Bulls. And I think, again, it's all dependent on what happens with their developmental system and can they turn this guy into a shooter? Can they turn him into a high-level role player? Can he even step into a bigger role than that? Who knows? But I think getting those players locked in longer term is just always going to be really important. And I think it improves the value of those second-round picks when you're able to keep them in your system long term. We saw what happened with Marco. They gave him the 3 years guaranteed. We saw what happened with Ayo. They only gave him 2. To just get this guy locked in, you don't have to like worry about how much of your future exceptions are you dipping into here. It's just like you get them locked in and that's the end of it.
That's it.
We got people chiming in the comments on Phillips' contract. James Andy saying, I love the 4 years. Looks like they're learning a lesson with Ayo. They like him, but don't really want to pay him for good reason. Damon, meanwhile, saying he thinks this was a smart move by AK and Eversley on Phillips' contract. Dupe saying, I like more control, to be honest. I think it's a good risk. And Jamie Andy saying it's nothing in today's NBA, 0 risk. I mean, yeah, I think for the most part we're all in agreement there. Tyson Lyon chiming in. I like Phillips. He's growing faster than P. Will and Dalen Terry. It is a very small annual salary that you're talking about. So if Julian Phillips does actually turn into a player that Billy feels comfortable and confident using in the back half of the rotation, then that is a very team-friendly contract that he is on.
Seriously.
And you mentioned the option, Will. I wonder if that was the part that they were hung up on because, you know, as we were sitting there getting ready for the Bulls' first tip-off in Vegas Friday afternoon, and we hear from Bulls PR, Julian Phillips not playing, contract not yet signed. We were like, what? Well, that kind of came out of nowhere. Seriously. And then he talked about it and told his side of the story after he did play in their second game Saturday, saying, just business being business. I am a little bit curious to know which maybe stipulation or detail within this contract, now that we have all of the details, was the one that they were maybe hung up on either side of this negotiation.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to say definitively, but I do think, you know, that is typically where you start to have some friction. I think that's where in the Vooch negotiations, it was like, should we get a team option? Do we want a player option here? And they settled in the middle with no option. So it could be, but I think also, like, to your point, Dave, this is a really good thing for the second round picks too.
Yeah.
To be able to get in there and get guaranteed money for 3 or 4 years where now you can like work with the team and develop and try to work your way into the rotation before hitting the free agent market, as opposed to like bouncing around different G League teams and, you know, really having to like scratch and claw your way into a rotation or even onto a G League team. I think this is really good for both parties. So they should both be happy with it. Obviously the team option is good for team control. And when I don't know if I would speak for you guys too, but like when I talk about these things from a cap perspective, I'm talking about it from the Bulls perspective of like, how do we sign team friendly contracts? Where can we find value? How do we, get the most out of our money in certain situations? And I think this is, if you're going to invest 2 future draft picks in the second round to get this kid, then you better find a way to lock him up. And so I think they did a good job to do that.
That's true.
Speaking of the Bulls young guys contracts, I saw our pal Anthony in the comments asking, did Dalen sign for 2 or 4? Dalen's a 4, I believe.
Dalen was, first round pick, so he's 4.
Yep. Right.
Dalen signed a 4-year deal. 4 years, 15.4. Club options, including this upcoming. So obviously, club option has been picked up for this upcoming season, where Dalen will make $3.35 million. Couple more comments, and then we can get out of here. Antoine Johnson saying, very smart move. I like JP a lot. I have a good feeling about that kid. I definitely did not like what I saw in his first summer league action. Give him a pass.
Sure.
First NBA first NBA summer league game, jitters, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
I liked what we've seen from him collectively over their 3rd and 4th summer league games.
No, without question.
I feel like there is serious potential with Julian Phillips. What do we think about JP as a nickname? That's the first time I've seen Julian Phillips shortened to JP.
I don't hate it. Nothing wrong with it. Call him what you feel, man. Call him JP.
Is our initials a nickname? I
maybe
think so.
Yeah.
I would say no.
I think so. Like
say
DT, that's a nickname.
So
Dalen Terry. DT is a
I don't
nickname.
know. I see a lot of Bulls fans in the comments today and over the last while. We've been talking about him a lot because of Summer League, calling Dalen
That's true. But
DT.
that's not-
I don't know if that's a
not your
nickname.
initials.
That's
It's
just
not.
initials.
That makes it a nickname.
Oh, yeah,
Big
that's
Dave
true.
Is a nickname.
Yeah.
Will
Large
is
David
obsessed with
is a
calling Big Dave LD for Large David.
Yeah, man. I was just telling him that. I literally was just saying that to him. So yes, I was just saying.
But like
that.
that's a nickname, whereas like DT is just Dalen Terry.
Yeah.
But like the Paw, that's a nickname.
Right.
It's a nickname. Yeah. Basketball Reference will tell us.
Basketball Reference will tell
Basketball
you.
Reference will tell us.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Let's
Yes.
see. Does Julian Phillips' basketball reference page have any listed nicknames yet? Let's see.
Oh, that was
Just,
awesome. to know.
we need Stacey King to come up with something quick. I think that's
He
really
is the nicknaming king.
He is. He will give somebody one. Yes. Shout out to him.
Let's get him on the pod and see if he has anything.
We should
That's a good
get him.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No nicknames listed yet for Julian Phillips on
Okay.
Basketball
all right.
Reference.
Stacey, be
Which
on it.
doesn't necessarily mean anything because, as we were discussing earlier before we went live, some of those Basketball Reference nicknames, you're like, I've literally never heard that player been called that before.
Quiet man.
Ever.
Yes.
Quiet man.
Quiet.
Shout
Or
out
maybe-
Richard Lewis.
Maybe the new segment should be I say a nickname from a random player and you have to guess.
We have to guess which player it
that
is?
All right.
as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
that.
I like
with
it.
that.
We can do that in August and September when things get real quiet around here, and we're still bringing y'all 5 shows a week.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that's it for today. We will be back tomorrow. Dave and I have one more show for you guys tomorrow. Will is off. Thank you to him and Mark for doing our immediate post-Vegas episode yesterday. I was sawing logs. Go check out that episode if you haven't listened to it yet.
Generation.
And we will be back tomorrow afternoon. I believe we are 4:30 Central Time tomorrow.
Nice.
To round out the week. Thank you to our friend and our producer, Sarah, for rocking with us today. Pleasure as
Sarah.
always, Sarah.
Hey, Mama Sarah.
You can follow Will on Twitter at Will_Gottlieb. Big Dave is at BAW, BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Hit that thumbs up on your way out if you haven't yet. Also, click that subscribe button if you aren't yet subscribed to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Appreciate you, Bulls Nation. Thanks for tuning in. We will talk to you tomorrow. See Red, be good.
Peace.